Behind every powerful man is a powerful woman, and for J.P. Morgan, that woman was Belle Da Costa Greene. But Greene's life wasn't just about preserving ancient manuscripts and Renaissance art. Hers was a life filled with secrets, a story of brilliance, deception, and the dangerous art of passing. Belle was no ordinary woman. Born in 1879, Belle Greene would become one of the most influential figures in the world of rare books and art. As the personal librarian of J.P. Morgan, she amassed one of the greatest collections of literary treasures ever seen. She wielded immense power in the male-dominated art world of early 20th century New York. What few knew, until decades after her death, was that Belle was passing as white. She was, in fact, a Black woman, and crafted her identity to obscure her African American heritage. Belle was born into a prominent African American family. Her father, Richard Theodore Greener, was a trailblazer in his own right. He was the first Black graduate of Harvard University in 1870, a lawyer and a staunch advocate for racial equality. He played a key role in the civil rights movement of his time and became a U.S. diplomat. In contrast, Belle's mother, Genevieve Fleet, was lighter-skinned and desired a life where race wouldn't define her children. After her marriage to Richard crumbled, partly because of their conflicting views on race, Genevieve moved with Belle and her siblings to New York, where they would begin a new life. In the racially segregated world of America in the early 1900s, her family did something unimaginable. They left behind their past. Belle's father, the outspoken Black intellectual, was out of the picture, and from that moment, Belle would present herself as a white woman of Portuguese descent. Her name was changed to Da Costa, giving her the exotic flair she would use to explain her olive skin and striking features. Her success was built on this carefully constructed lie. The transformation was complete, but with this new identity came incredible risk. Belle knew if her secret was exposed, her entire world would come crashing down. In the early 20th century, racial passing was a dangerous game, and Belle had to be flawless at it. Every social interaction, every relationship, every career move, one mistake could mean the end of everything. But Belle's passing was more than just survival. It was her way of accessing power and influence that was otherwise unreachable for a Black woman at that time. By 1905, she had not only reinvented herself, but had also become an irreplaceable figure in the world of rare books and fine art for billionaire financier J.P. Morgan, one of the most powerful men in America. He was looking for someone to help him curate his vast collection of manuscripts, books, and fine art. It was a world dominated by male scholars and collectors, but when Morgan met Belle, he saw something special. He saw a woman of impeccable taste, intellect, and daring ambition. What he didn't see was the truth. J.P. Morgan was notorious for his towering presence and larger-than-life persona. But Belle wasn't intimidated. She impressed him with her knowledge of ancient manuscripts, the finest Parisian couture, fluency in multiple languages, and charm. Under her leadership, Morgan's collection became the envy of Europe. She traveled the world for him, negotiating with collectors and outbidding royalty. She was a woman at the top of her game, yet she was walking a tightrope of deception. One of Belle's most famous acquisitions was the Gutenberg Bible. In 1911, she secured a copy of this 15th century masterpiece, one of the earliest printed books in existence, for an astonishing $50,000, equivalent to millions of dollars today. This made headlines around the world. She was no mere librarian. Belle was one of the greatest art connoisseurs and negotiators of her time. Belle was known for her sharp wit and sparkling personality. She effortlessly mingled with the wealthy and powerful and hosted dinner parties attended by New York's elite, from businessmen to artists to politicians. She had a magnetic presence, and many admired her intellect and beauty. But even as she stood in the limelight, Belle was haunted by her past. Behind closed doors, she lived in constant fear of being exposed. Her letters revealed the intense pressure she felt to maintain her facade. "I am what I am," she once wrote to a friend. "And yet, there is this other part of me that no one knows." Even her personal relationships were shaped by this secret. Belle had a long-term affair with Bernard Berenson, a prominent art historian. Though they deeply connected, Belle never revealed her true racial identity to him. She lived in a world where she couldn't trust even those closest to her. Perhaps no one understood the delicate balance Belle lived better than she did. One wrong move, one slip of the tongue, and everything she had built could come crashing down. She was passing in a world where the color of your skin determined everything: wealth, status, even survival. Yet Belle was determined not to let the truth overshadow her accomplishments. She spent over 4 decades building J.P. Morgan's collection, which would later become the Morgan Library and Museum in New York. Under her direction, the library became a cultural treasure trove, home to rare books, manuscripts, and artifacts from across the globe. Belle Da Costa Greene died in 1950 at the age of 71, having lived a legendary life shrouded in mystery. Only after her death did historians begin to unravel the full story of her identity, a truth that she took with her to the grave. The woman who had been born into one of the nation's most respected Black families had spent her life as someone else entirely. Belle's story forces us to ask difficult questions about race, identity, and the price of success. Was she a woman who defied the limitations society placed on her? Or was she someone who had to compromise her very self to achieve greatness? Perhaps we'll never truly know, but what we do know is that Belle Da Costa Greene lived a life that defied convention. She was a trailblazer, a visionary, and a woman whose legacy will forever be intertwined with the world of rare books and art, whether or not the world knew who she truly was. If you found this story as captivating as we did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. We'll continue to uncover more untold stories from history, stories that reveal the hidden truths of those who lived in the shadows of society's boundaries.